All right, welcome back. This is Unit 6, Lesson 2. So by now, you click the link for the Desmos activity, and hopefully you joined. If not, you'll see this. Don't change anything here. Just click join. Put your name here again. I need to know who did this lesson so you can receive credit for that. Once you're done, hit go. All right, so for today, our lesson 2 goal, the lesson 2 is actually called transformations as functions. So just a reminder, and from the last lesson, the transformations that we're talking about are translate, reflect, and rotate. Remember that translate means to just slide. The goal to today is let's compare transformations to functions. We'll see what that means in a second. As we go through this lesson, I'll ask you to pause and then go back to your Desmos, finish that part, and then come back to this video. All right, so for the warm-up, there's a few problems here, but we're going to start with this example. It is multiple choice, so don't just guess. Make sure that you understand because you want to get the answers right. Translate A by the directed line segment from 0, 0 to 0, 2. Now, there's no line segment here, but if I were to just, sorry about that. If I were to create a line segment, let's say, and it says from 0, 0, that's this point, to 0, 2. So 0, 2 is here. So they said to move this point here, this many spaces. Which, how many spaces did this point move here? It moved 1, 2. So I need to move this point here up 2, 1, 2. So my new point will go here. I don't need all these lines here, so let me come back. And this point will now land here. So this is A prime. And this is equal to what? This is equal to, remember that your X value always comes first, 3, comma, and then your Y value comes next. And this is a 4, 3, comma, 4. So this is how you would do something like this. I know I just did this first one with you, but that's fine. So I will come back to my Desmos lesson and click 3, 4 and go next. So you'll continue with this warm-up. It's asking you now to translate from 0, 0 to negative 4, 0. And then you pick the option. Where do you think A is going to land? This third part of the warm-up is to reflect A across the x-axis. So let me remember that to reflect. And then now it's saying across the x-axis. So this is going to land somewhere here. That's my clue because the x-axis is here. Oops. Your x-axis is right here, right? So you need to reflect this point and it's going to land over here somewhere. But you figure that out and you tell me where do you think you're going to end up and at what coordinate point. The last part of the warm-up is to rotate 180 degrees clockwise using 0, 0 as the center. So you decide, where do you think this point is going to land? All right, at this point is a good place to pause me and pick up on the next activity when you're done with your warm-up. Now we're moving on to the next activity, 2.2, inputs and outputs. Now it's saying for each point X, Y, so for number 1, 2, and 3, find its image under this transformation. And it's saying X plus 12 and Y minus 2. So what do you think we're going to have to do to each of these points? Well, it's telling me here, wherever you see an X, sorry about that, wherever you see X, you need to add 12. Whatever your Y is, you need to subtract 2. All right, so let's do this first one together. So my point is negative 10, 5. This is my X, this is my Y, right? So I could do some side work. You should have a piece of paper out or a calculator. Now it says to do what to your x values? It says to add 12. Okay, so let me add 12 to 10. Negative 10 plus 12. You should get 2. Okay, now what is it saying to do to your y? It's saying to subtract 2. All right, so my y is 5. 5 minus 2 equals 3. So what's your new point going to be? My new point's going to be 2, 3. So I'd come back here and I would say that A is equal to 2, 2, 3. And I want you to do the rest of these points. You have 2 more. So you'll tell me that B equals something and then that C equals something, and you'll tell me those here. So go ahead and pause me and complete this activity. All right. So by this time you should have completed A, B, and C. I'm not going to do the work for you for the other 2, but A's point was 2, 3. Now, if we hit next, it says here, activity 2.2, graph points A prime, B prime here. Plot your new points from the previous slide. All you need is your XY coordinates. Click the blank space on the left and type your new XY. Now, that actually reminds me. Let me go back for a second. This isn't A. This is actually A prime, because this is a new point that we've created after we applied a transformation. So that's actually A prime. So what I need you to do here is, all you have to do is click here on the left, click your parentheses, and that was 2, 3. Close your parentheses, and you could see here that it's put a point here, and we'll click label, and then it has 2, 3. You'll do that again for the other 2 points that you found. Just click on the left again, click on the left, and then you'll put your points, and they'll automatically plot it here for you on the right. All right, so go ahead and pause me and all right, so you should have completed all your plots here. Now the third part of activity 2.2 is called inputs and outputs. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can write on here. Now your job here is to complete this table. It tells you here what you need to do in order for you to complete this table. And that's here. It's saying 2x, 2y. Now, what does it mean when a number is right next to a letter? What's happening between these 2 things? Well, you should have said multiplication. So this actually is saying 2 times x and 2 times y. So what do you think that means that you're going to have to do to all your x's and all your y's? Multiply them all. So let's do this first one together. Your first one is -1, -3. Again, remember that it's in this order, x, y. They told us here to multiply your x and your y's by 2. So what's -1 times 2 and -3 times 2? That would be -2, -6. That's it for this one. So you'll come here. All you got to do is click on here. You'll multiply and you'll click your parentheses. And we said that was -2, -6. Close those parentheses up. Hit the next one. Multiply these by 2 and keep going. Go ahead and pause me. All right. So you should have finished that slide. The next slide after that is the cool down. But before we do the cool down, let me come back here. This is these numbers here, whenever we are either multiplying by 2. Back here, we added 12 and we subtracted 2 here. These mean different things. And so let me actually screenshot this again so I can write on here. These mean different transformations. So let's say I have a point here, and let's say my original point is at 1, 1, and I have a point here. Okay, this is 1, 1. If I say, hey, add 2 to your x and add 3, oops, that's a y, add 3 to your y. What is this telling my point to do? So if I add 2 to my x, my new point is going to be, so I'll take right here, I'll add +2 and here +3. And what do those new points become? That would become 3, 4. All right, now let's find, where does this new prime point, this new point go? At 3, 4. So this will have to be 2, 3, oops. Let me extend this graph a little bit. This is 2, 3, 4. My new point will be up here somewhere. Let me erase this. Okay. 3, 4 is going to land right here. So that's where my new point would live. 3, 4. This was 1, 1. So what kind of transformation did this original point here go through? Well, it was a translation because it slid to the right 2 times. Wait, I seen a 2 before. Yeah, we seen that here. We went to the right 2 times, and then I went up 3 times. So I went to the right 2 and up 3. Wait a minute, I've seen a 3 before. Yeah, that was here. So what kind of transformation happened to this original point right here? It just was a translation. It slid to the right 2. It slid to the right 2, and it went up 3. That's a translation. We're just sliding. Okay, so we'll continue to get into more details about what each of these mean whenever there's a change on your x and y. And what I mean by whenever there's a change, that's here. There's a change going on here. If we look now, we can move forward to the cooldown. There's another change that's going on here. If you notice now, the change is a minor one. There's just a negative x and there's a negative in front of the x. So what does that mean? Well, they are saying wherever there is an x or whatever your x value is, put a negative there right in front of it. And then the rest remains the same. There's no change to y. There was only a change here. So go ahead and go through each one of these and make those changes and tell me your final answer. Now, some of you are like, well, there's already a negative in front of the 2. Well, what do you think is going to happen there? So your final answer should have an A prime, B prime, and a C prime. And then you're done with the answer. Then you're done with the whole lesson. I'll see you guys on the next one.